Well. So once again, the Dallas Cowboys are having a quiet and boring offseason. And so we are having to go out here and really go out here and look for these stories for the Dallas Cowboys. And some people are just kind of making up their own stories. Well, one thing you can count on from me is that I'm not going to disappoint. And I have scoured the internet for all of the latest news on the Dallas Cowboys. And right now, the biggest news seems to be about the Dallas Cowboys defense. And once again, ESPN has compiled this list of the best defensive tackles in the league. And we're gonna see where does Quinnen Williams rank on that list. But that's not even the big story that I have for you today. The big story that we're gonna deal with today is Von Miller. Sorry I didn't put that in the title, but we're gonna deal with Von Miller and these edge rushers. Oh, and do I got a story for y'all today? Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Hey, it's Thursday. It's Thursday, Dallas Cowboys Nation. Somebody said, what's the big deal about Thursday? It's another day to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. That's what Thursday is. Let's go. Let's get it. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And yes, we are live. If you haven't become a channel member subscriber yet, what are you waiting on? Man, we got a lot of great content coming up this season. Now let's talk facts. Oh man, I got a show for y'all today. Our show today, we're gonna talk a little bit about this Quinnen Williams rank and see kind of where do they have Quinnen Williams. And some of you may have already seen this, but it's crazy to me where they have Quinnen Williams, if you ask me. But that's not going to be the big story for the day. The big story for today is going to be Von Miller. It seems that Von Miller is lobbying to play for the Dallas Cowboys. We're gonna see what this is all about. Then, we're gonna look at the stories we didn't get a chance to look at yesterday, and I told y'all, man, I was gonna try to do Cowboys After Dark. But Miss Matrix was exactly right, man. The Sandman got to me. The Sandman got to me, Cowboys fans. But don't you worry, I'm gonna give you Cowboys After Dark. I'm gonna give you a bunch of Cowboys After Dark when the season starts as we get closer to the action of the Cowboys. But we're gonna talk about the cornerback with the most to prove. Then we're gonna go back to the Rashan Gary story. Then we're gonna look at Guyton and Terrence Steele. We're gonna talk about the Marshawn Kneeland CTE story. Then we're gonna go back to the Twin Take podcast. We're gonna inch our way through the Twin Take podcast, listening to Brian Schottenheimer. Schottenheimer is revealing quite a few things in that Twin Take podcast, and so we're gonna inch our way through that over the next couple of weeks. So this is the show for the day. Quinnen's rank, Von Miller talk, and I got a bonus. I'm gonna throw a bonus in there with Von Miller. Von Miller talk. Cowboys cornerback with the most to prove, Rashan Gary. Guyton and Steele, kneeling with CTE. Twin Take podcast. Let's go, Cowboys fans. Let's get it. Yeah. It's Thursday. Great day to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Let's get this quick roll call, and then we're gonna get this show started because we got a lot to talk about. What is going on, Everett? Everett said, what up, Cowboys Nation? Man, we got a lot to talk about. Thomas Gold Ring Jr. What up? Dolores Ennis. What's up? Marvin Mays. What up? 72 Chevelle just pulled into the congregation. He said they're talking about his off the field problems he has had, not his ability. All right, we're going to see who we're talking about. Ice Cold Cowboy, what up? He says time to get that popcorn. Let's go. We them boys. What up, we them boys? Again, Dolores Ennis, what's up? Derek Jones, what's going on? Frank Lawrence, what's up? He said he just watched the Trig video. Yeah, man. Trig is one of them. Trig is one of them, Frank. What up, John Henry? The real estate vet, what's going on? I know it's hot in Vegas because it's hot over here in the Metroplex. What's going on, Big Moss Dog? The Queen, what's going on, Queen? Again, good to see you with them boys. Brandy, what is up? Bass in the building. What up, Bass? Blakey, what up, Blakey? Brandy, she said, do we not want Von Miller? I think we do want Von Miller. I think we do. Well, let me say we do. I'm not sure if the Cowboys do. I'm not sure if the Cowboys do. What up, Demetrius Noel? What's going on, Zapped? What's going on? Carl Williams, what's going on? Michael Lee in the building. What up, Mike Lee? What is going on? The Twin Take podcast is in the building. What is up, Twin Take podcast? I just mentioned you. Hey, we're going to go back, man. You guys did a great job, Twin Take podcast. Man, you did a great job. Y'all got a bright future ahead of y'all. Got Brian Schottenheimer on there, man. That's a great feather to have in the cap. Grew up beside Marty Schottenheimer. I know you guys got a lot of great morals and values, so appreciate y'all tuning in to the show again. The Twin Take podcast. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you go to the Twin Take podcast, subscribe to their podcast. We need to get them to 1,000. We need to get them to 1,000 subscribers and do it in a hurry. In a hurry. Appreciate you. Football fanatic, what is going on? Good to see you. Poobie D in the building. What up, Poobie D? Jimmy Bailey, what is going on? Big Dal, Eric Folks, what's going on? Good to see you. All right, Justin Harris, what is going on? Derek Jones, what's up, Derek Jones? What's going on? Good to see you. All right, we about to get this thing going. Gabe Robinson in the building. We'll greet everybody else as they come in. Let's go. Yep. Y'all make sure when you go and subscribe to the Twin Take podcast, make sure you let them know Let's Talk Cowboys sent you. Showing love to the young brothers. Showing love. What up, Anthony Jefferson? What is going on, RYX fan? All right, we're going to be talking about Von Miller in just a moment. But the first things first, I want to get over here to this Quinnen Williams conversation. They're having this conversation about Quinnen Williams. It's not really a Quinnen Williams conversation, but ESPN, of course, they are doing what they do yearly, and they kind of take a poll between, NFL execs, GMs. Let's kind of go over here to the story. They kind of, they go over here and take a poll of executives, coaches, scouts. They rank the top defensive tackles in 2026. And I don't necessarily agree with where they have Quinnen Williams. But the issue is maybe if we talk about why they may have Quinnen Williams here, maybe it'll make a lot more sense to us. But Quinnen Williams is absolutely one of the most dominant defensive tackles in the league. And there is no way that Quinnen Williams should be less than anything 3. I mean, that's in my book. But this is where they are. Here it is again. Says here, the 2026. Hold on, let me see if we get a little background music here. The 2026 NFL training camp's on the horizon. And with this in mind, ESPN surveyed league executives, coaches, and scouts to help us rank the top 10 players at 11 different positions. This is the 7th edition of these annual rankings. Here's how it works. Voters gave their own top 10 players at a position. Then we compiled the results and ranked candidates based on the number of top 10 votes, composite average, and dozen of interviews with research and film study from ESPN NFL analyst Matt Bowen, as well as ESPN research. More than 70 voters submitted a ballot on at least one position, and in many cases, all positions. Additional voting and follow-up calls with those surveyed contributed to placements. This was not a 5-year projection or career award, but meant to answer a simple question. Who are the best players right now? Y'all know how we say it right now. R-E-T-N-O-W. And right now, they got the defensive tackles. But our bonus is we're going to look at the edge rushers, because I did not look at the edge rushers. That'll be a bonus. Now, let's look at the defensive tackles. Defensive tackle yielded a few surprises in this year's rankings. First, the number 1 selection was a mild upset based on precedent, but not a shock based on recent tape. 2 players dominated the race at the top, followed by close voting among numbers 3 to 6, and a few former number 1 players dipped a spot, or 6. Also, the final 3 spots were all debuts, and the list of players who just missed the cut is well stocked with former Pro Bowlers and All-Pros. Here are the best interior game records based on votes from league executives, scouts, and coaches. Number 1. And let me tell you why I think Leonard Williams is number 1. Seattle Seahawks and a Super Bowl. This is why I believe that Leonard Williams is the number 1 defensive tackle on here. You know, once you get a Super Bowl, man, a lot of things happens. It says he was the most important player on the on that Super Bowl team, and NFL coordinator said he's the total package. They said these days he's an absolute nightmare. Williams recorded 7, not 1, not 2, 7 sacks and a 38% run-stop win rate on his way to second-team All-Pro honors. His versatility at 6'5", 310 pounds put offensive linemen in a bind, no matter the position. You can line him up in front of the right tackle, the right guard, the center, the left guard, the left tackle. He can beat them all. Veteran NFC defensive coach said he's always had some game-changing ability. He's putting it all together now, and those around him are making plays because of it too. Williams' 120 run-stop wins when double-teamed over the past 3 seasons are tied for the most in the NFL. His 24 tackles on pass plays in 2025 were 6 more than any other interior lineman. Yeah, he is an absolute beast. Yeah, this guy's an absolute beast. But don't discount the coaching that he got. And this is why I say again, the theme of the Dallas Cowboys season will be coaching. It will absolutely be coaching. Number 2, Jeffrey Simmons, Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans, they got him at number 2. Last year's rankings was number 4. I still say that Quinnen Williams is better than him. I get it, but I think Quinnen Williams' tape is better than his. Number 3, Jalen Carter. This is no surprise. It is no surprise that Jalen Carter is number 3. And the only reason why Jalen Carter has not gotten paid, there seems to be some issues that they're talking about with, I don't know, attitude, whatever the case may be. But man, this dude is a monster. Someone said he's a problem. A veteran defensive coach said, a game record, you feel his presence out there consistently. Yeah, but we were able to handle up on him this year. Yeah, we handled up on him. It says here he flashes 10 times a game, but gets dragged far too often by average players. An NFL coordinator said, yeah, I can see that too. You see that too? So Philadelphia Eagles haven't paid him yet. Number 4, Chris Jones. Now this is a surprise because I kind of figured that for me, it would probably be Chris Jones being at the number 1 spot. No less than 3, but Chris Jones this year falls out of the top 3. Chris Jones is at number 4. And again, I want you to notice something. Are y'all ready for this? Pay attention to these defensive tackles. I'm going to let you in on a little secret that we're going to be talking about as we go forward with our edge rushers. Isn't it strange? The number 1 defensive tackle in the league, at least by ESPN rankings. Guess what he has that the top edge rushers in the league, the highest paid edge rushers, guess what they don't have that Leonard Williams has? Anybody want to take a guess? I'm going to let y'all, as I keep asking this question, I think y'all are going to figure out the answer by default. Y'all want to notice something else? Okay, we got number 2, Jeffrey Simmons. He may not possess this, but look at what the number 3 defensive tackle possesses that the top paid edge rushers in the game don't possess. Guess what that is? So we see 2 of the 3 top defensive tackles. They possess something that the edge rushers, the highest paid edge rushers in the game, do not possess. We get the number 4. Guess what Chris Jones possesses that the top paid edge rushers in the league don't possess? Chris Jones, number 4. It's amazing to me there is a theme with these top defensive tackles who are not necessarily the top paid players in the league. Chris Jones says Jones is heralded as an all-time chief, and for good reason. He has made 7 consecutive Pro Bowls and has had back-to-back all-pro nods from 2022 to 2024. It's amazing what they were winning at that time. He's still a guy you have to game plan for. Yes, he is. Jones still posted an 18.9% pass rush win rate, tops among defensive tackles, and 7 sacks in 2025. He led the league in pass rush wins when double teamed and led interior linemen in pressures. Some evaluators thought Jones' 728 snaps played in 2024 were too many and that Kansas City would benefit from reducing that number slightly to keep him fresh. Well, he played 762 snaps in 2025. Nevertheless, now, Derrick Jones, as in Derrick Jones. Derrick Jones, Carolina Panthers, he's at number 5. And look who number 6 is. Number 6, Quinnen Williams. Now, let's figure out what happened to Quinnen Williams. I believe Quinnen Williams should be ranked higher on here. But even Quinnen Williams, we figured out, even he was not Matt Eberflus proof. There were times when, you got to realize he came to the Cowboys mid-season. He came in and there was a stint where the entire Cowboys defense looked really well. But then as we got further down the season and Matt Eberflus started moving and going back to what he was doing before, even after Shotty told him he wanted change, we saw where this Dallas Cowboys defense, it just looked lethargic. It just looked like it was uninspired, couldn't line up in the right spot. It was just not just Quinnen Williams, it was bad all the way around. So Quinnen Williams is ranked at number 6, but I believe that he's actually top 3. But again, when you look at the top 4, 3 of those 4, what do they have? We're going to talk about it in a moment. Okay, we got Dexter Lawrence, Cincinnati Bengals at number 7. We got Zach Allen, number 8, Denver Broncos. Milton Williams, number 9, New England Patriots. He also went somewhere that very few of the top paid edge rushers have been. Yeah, we're going to talk about what that is in a moment. And then, of course, you got Jordan Davis of the Philadelphia Eagles. And he also has something. He has something that those top edge rushers in the league do not have. And this is why I'm telling y'all, when you think about these doggone defensive tackles versus these edge rushers, we're going to discover that the Cowboys made the right move. Because the teams that are winning Super Bowls, they have top defensive tackles in the league. Here is the Seattle Seahawks. They're on the list again. And guess what? Byron Murphy II, Seattle Seahawks. This is what we're looking at. These defensive tackles, whether we realize it or not, these defensive tackles are very impactful. Yeah, Poobie D, this is top 10. So again, there's no Kenny Clark there. There's no Kenny Clark. Doesn't mean that Kenny Clark isn't good. But again, these defensive tackles, we've already seen, even in the honorable mention even has something that these top edge rushers in the league do not have. We look inside of isn't it amazing? Nobody finds this to be amazing. That when you look at the top 10 defensive tackles in the league, based upon what ESPN, NFL execs, and scouts have voted, anybody didn't notice, you have what? At least 5 of these guys? They have Super Bowl rings, dare I say? They have Super Bowl rings. Super Bowl. Didn't get a ring. Went to the Super Bowl. You get to the top 4, Super Bowl. Super Bowl. Super Bowl. Nobody finds that to be suspicious? Nobody finds that to be suspicious? It's amazing to me how many of these doggone defensive tackles are in Super Bowls. Nobody finds that to be suspicious. Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm telling us there is a correlation. And this is why the Cowboys did what they did. You would much rather have dominant defensive tackle play than just edge rusher play without the dominant defensive tackle play. And I got news for us. If you got dominant defensive tackles, you don't even need $100 million edge rusher play. You just need good edge rusher play. You don't even need Pro Bowl level edge rusher play. If you could just give us Pro Bowl level defensive tackles, all pro defensive tackles, you can bring in somebody with some ability and they can do the job. We have seen this. The proof is in the pudding. We have seen it over and over and over the last 5 Super Bowls, where these defensive tackles, not these edge rushers, these defensive tackles are dominating. They're absolutely dominating Super Bowls, playoffs. They're dominating the league. And the Cowboys are hoping to do the same thing. We got Quinnen Williams in here now for an entire offseason. We're going to have Kenny Clark in here now for an entire offseason. They both get the system down. They're going to be lined up with Otito Ogbonnia and Jonathan Bullard. They're going to have this linebacker core around them. D. Winters, Rashan Gary, D. Winters, Overshown, Ezraku, throw in some Jayshawn Barham, some James Houston, some Malachi Lawrence, LT Overton, because they're going to play too. When you look at that D-line and what we're going to be able to put around it, you can book it. This Dallas Cowboys team is going to be able to do something they haven't been able to do in a decade or more. And number one, that's going to be stop the run. And when you can stop the run, and you put teams in 3rd and longs, because this is exactly what the Cowboys want to do. They want to put teams in third and longs. They don't want them in third and shorts. They want them in third and longs, third and sevens, third and eights, third and nines. Take away the tush push from the Eagles. You want teams in third and long. And then, because when you think about the Christian Parker's defenses, they're not built around blitzing. Fangio, his defenses were not built around blitzing. But he does manufacture ways of getting to the quarterback. And when you got Quinnen Williams up front, Kenny Clark up front, you're going to have guys like Barham, Gary, guys like Lawrence, who actually can pursue the quarterback. You watch what I tell you. These guys are going to get sacks. You watch what I tell you. They're going to create havoc. They're going to create sacks. They're going to create turnovers because the system that they're running is that much better. It is that much better. And it's going to do very well with these defensive tackles. Let me read a couple of the comments here, and then we're going to go into Von Miller, because this is where we're going to get into this edge rusher conversation. We're going to get into this edge rusher conversation because it's ironic when you think about what happened when Von Miller went to the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Frank Lawrence, he said Quinnen will be playing in meaningful football games in December and January for the first time in his career with a stacked D-line under Top Gun defensive line coaches. Go Cowboys. Yeah. He will be in competition. Ryx fan said, I bet we could have traded Quinnen and some picks for Myles Garrett, but they rank him out of the top 5. Shaking my head. Ryx fan, he's the only player on defense I could think of that the Cleveland Browns would have wanted. Absolutely. Demetrius said, gee, if the criteria for being ranked top 5 is Super Bowl wins, then they might be right. But I will take the European approach. Being a top player is not predicated on winning a championship. Now, Demetrius Noel, but watch this though. Think about what they rank these guys. But again, think about this. Whoever says that defensive tackles are the top players in the league, whoever says it. The trenches, in the grand scheme of things, they're almost unheralded. And we know this, Demetrius Noel, simply because, see, defensive tackles, for lack of a better term, defensive tackles, it's not a sexy position. It's not a sexy position. You know, you look at the defensive tackles, they're the big guys in the middle. You know, you never know how these guys are built. The one thing you know, they are strong and they are big-bodied guys. And they do a lot of the dirty work in the trenches. They're taking on the double teams. They're fighting through blocks. They are the ones that's creating the havoc that opens it up for linebackers and edge rushers to be the glamour positions. It's amazing to me, Demetrius. See, no, the defensive tackles aren't actually the top players. They are not the top players until you go in and start examining, well, how did these teams win? But when we think about it on the surface, how do we know what I'm saying is true, Demetrius? Let's think about this. Who are the highest paid players again? Highest paid player on defenses today are what? Edge rushers. Why? Why are edge rushers the highest paid players on defenses today? It's a sexy position because sacking the quarterback, it's like a touchdown for the defense. That's how people look at it sometimes. The quarterback sack, it's an exciting play for the fans. The fans love seeing a quarterback sack because they're hoping, man, when he sacks that quarterback, hope he don't get up. Edge rusher. This is why Micah Parsons is so heralded. Why? Because he can rush the passer, averaging 12 sacks a year. It's a sexy position. This is why when you look at what Myles Garrett did, it's incredible. what was it, 23 sacks? It's a sexy position. And you hope that it changes the games. But in reality, when you look at these actual pass rushers, I'm not telling you they're not making impact on games, but I can tell you this, they all seem to be home during the playoffs. I don't know about they either at home during the playoffs or they go home in the playoffs. Tell me show me you want to win a Super Bowl. I need to know who your offensive tackles are, and I need to know who your defensive tackles are. I'm not telling you that your edge rusher is of no consequence, but you can give me an average to good edge rusher and give me two of the most dominant defensive tackles in the league. I'll take that every single day over one of the most dominant pass rushers in the league and with a couple of okay defensive tackles. I'll take the dominant defensive tackles and good. I'm talking good. We don't even need great. Give me good edge rushers with dominant defensive tackles. I'll beat you every single time. And the reason why I know I'll beat you every single time is because these are the teams that are winning the Super Bowls. It's that simple. And again, Demetrius Noel, you think about it. The defensive tackles, man, they are the blue-collar workers of the defense. Nobody talks about defensive tackles until we start getting down into the real X's and O's. And we really start discussing like, okay, how did this happen? And then somebody says, hey, man, that defensive tackle play, it was absolutely dominant. But when we're watching games, what are we looking for? We're looking for the sexy plays on defense. We want the edge rusher to sack the quarterback or get the strip sack fumble or cause an interception. We want the cornerbacks to get the interceptions. And if we got a real good linebacker, he's got to be creating turnovers and all of these things. And so when you think about that stuff, right there, the defensive tackles are really the unsung heroes of a lot of Super Bowls. Found something I'm going to show you. That this stuff is crazy when you think about it. It's crazy. And this is why, for me, I'm excited about Quinnen Williams. And I've been telling people, people keep saying, yeah, man. People keep saying, yeah, man, Rashan Gary, he ain't that good of a pass rusher. On who team? On who team? Rashan Gary was balling out before the Green Bay Packers got injured. Rashan Gary was balling out. People give this man a bad name. Not only was he a great run stopper, when they had everybody healthy, Rashan Gary was getting after the quarterback because he's a one-on-one nightmare. He is a one-on-one nightmare. And when you match him up with Quinnen Williams, who is going to be commanding double teams, and you're going to have to leave Kenny Clark one-on-one, that's going to be a problem. Rashan Gary, one-on-one, that's going to be a problem. Donovan Ezeraku, one-on-one in the second season, that will probably be a problem. But if he's not a problem, watch how good Malachi Lawrence will be. James Houston, people don't give James Houston enough credit. James Houston will be a problem, one-on-one. So when you think about what we are talking about and these Quinnen Williams rank, the ranking, what makes the ranking so powerful is when you think about 5 of the 11 defensive tackles, they all share something in common: Super Bowls.
You can't handle the truth.
Yeah. Right, fan, he said, I can't wait to see Q and Kenny in the front, Overshawn and Barham in the middle, and especially Jalen Thompson and Caleb Downs on the roof. Yeah. Yeah, we got some players, man. Yeah, we got some players over here. All right. So let's move over to the Von Miller conversation, because this is going to be an extensive conversation, because now we're going to look at these doggone edge rushers.
Here we go.
Poobie D, he said, facts, G, because if you get in gash up the middle, you will get beat. Yes, sir, Poobie D. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we them boys. See, this is where the Cowboys, they don't understand yet. But they're going to understand. Demetrius said, G, you're right. It's a sexy position. It gets all the highlights. Yep. Most of them are enjoying the playoffs on their couch. Exactly. Exactly, Demetrius Noel. They're the edge rushers, bruh. They be somewhere on a yacht because they probably not on the couch, Demetrius. They getting paid so much money now, they ain't even on the couch, bro. They on a yacht somewhere watching the playoffs talking about next year. Yeah, man. Yeah, they getting paid so much now. They like, yeah, man, next year. And next year come around and still don't happen. Shoot, I would much rather have what the Cowboys have now than what they had before. And it's nothing against Micah Parsons. We needed those defensive tackles. Now we got to see what our edge rushers, can they be good? We don't need them to be great. We just need them to be good. That's all we need them to be. Win Bowden said, gee, Cowboys defense will be better than everyone expecting. The NFL be calling them the hot boys. Cowboys are back playoffs time. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. I am with you. All right. So let's get into this conversation about Von Miller. This is a very lengthy conversation. Y'all remember, we already had this conversation about Von Miller. We've already had this conversation. We're going to have it again because now people are talking about it. Yeah, now people are talking about it, Cowboys Nation, but we already had talked about that over here. We had already talked about it. Craig Bill said they really don't understand the size of these monsters up front. Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, and Jonathan Bullitt, no Tito Obonya. Yeah, we're going to be good to go, man. We're going to be good to go. We don't need, it will be great if we could get, I mean, especially for a good price. I mean, if we can get Micah Parsons' level of performance for a good price, yeah. But at this point, I think the Cowboys are doing it right. Let's get to Oxnard, California. Let's get a couple of weeks of practice in. Let's see how the guys are running the system. Let's get into the August 11th game against the Rams and kind of see what we're working with. And then after that, you make your assessment, and now you make your moves on what you want to do. Now, I'll be honest with you. A lot of people are screaming about Von Miller. I'm going to be honest with you. Y'all already know there's only one player I'm thinking about. There's only one player for me that really locks this defense down. There's only one player for me, and his name is Jordan Brooks. I want to hear Jordan Brooks before I hear anybody. And I know that may be further down the line, but the player that I'm looking forward to the Dallas Cowboys getting is Jordan Brooks. Come on, Troy Aikman. Come on now. Jerry gonna slide your little cash on the table. Jerry slams. I'm just playing. Don't listen to me, Twin Tech, if y'all still in here. I don't want y'all to be even hearing that kind of stuff. I'm just saying. I'm hoping the Cowboys get Jordan Brooks. But, so it looks like, from what my understanding is, Von Miller is lobbying for the Dallas Cowboys. And it looks like we got a couple of Dallas Cowboy players out here trying to recruit Von Miller. I don't know if y'all saw this. Recognize them two players in there? Y'all recognize them two players? That is none other than Dez Bryant, Emmitt Smith, and that is Von Miller. Yeah, that's Von Miller. Let me see here. Gabe Robinson says, yeah, he agreed with me on Jordan Brooks. That's the only person I really want to hear. I'll be honest with you. Anybody else is be cool. I mean, even with Von Miller, I never talked about Von Miller. I'm not going to be mad if the Cowboys bring in Von Miller. I think he'd be a great addition to the team as long as he fits into the system. And that's going to be the number one thing here. Does he fit into the system? Davion Wallace said, I want Brooks too. Might have to settle for Bobby. Who is that? Bobby G. We talking about Bobby Wagner? Might not happen. I don't think we're going to get Bobby Wagner. Yeah, let me tell you something, we them boys. We're going to have to start working on a couple of things. The Cowboys only have $5 million under the cap. That means they got two contracts they actually need to start considering. They probably need to go ahead and redo Quinnen Williams' deal and extend him. That'll free up some cap space. And go ahead and extend George Pickens. That'll free up a lot of cap space. So we're going to see what happens. Yeah, Gwen Bowden said, yeah, she's with me too on Jordan Brooks. Now, again, Von Miller, man, they out here recruiting on Von Miller. Now, let's check out this other part of what Von Miller. Don't get it twisted. There's a lot of times I hear people saying, yeah, man, somebody's lobbying for the Cowboys. No, Von Miller is actually lobbying for the Cowboys. Yeah, he's actually lobbying. Look at these things that he's been posting. Says over here, let's get a little. Von Miller lobbying to join the Cowboys and a report suggests Dallas could have interest. Okay, what's this report, man? I'm always laughing when they say report says. Okay, what report? It says clearly Von Miller wants to be a Dallas Cowboy, and the report hints the team that could have interest in signing him. Says here, Von Miller is leaving no doubt about his desire to play for the Dallas Cowboys in 2026. Miller sat down for an interview with R.J. Ashore on Monday and said he would definitely be interested in playing for the Dallas Cowboys this season. Says here in a quote, "It would be great to be a Dallas Cowboy," he admitted. "I grew up here in Dallas. I've always had a special place in my heart for the Dallas Cowboys." Come on, Von Miller. Come on. Come on over here, Von. Miller, who is from Texas and still lives in the state, noted that he would only have to drive 20 minutes to work and he could stay closer to his family. Come on, Von. "This will be the first time that my mom and dad don't have to fly to every single game. My mom has been to every single game that I've ever played, and she'd be able to drive to all the home games. And I got so many family members here. My kids are here. Everybody's here." Come on, Von Miller. Von Miller posts Cowboys edit on Instagram. Let's see. "This is what I call truly lobbying to play for the Dallas Cowboys." This is what I call lobbying right here. When you post this on your own on your own social media account, you really want to play for the Dallas Cowboys. Come on, Von. We ain't mad at you, brother. Come on. Come on, man. We them boys, I don't know, but I tell you this. Hey, come on, Von. If you're just talking about rushing the passer, I'm not going to be mad if they get Von Miller. I really do think Von Miller can help the Dallas Cowboys. I do. I'm not mad if they get him. Because again, it's not like Von Miller is a top 10 pass rusher. It's not like we're about to go out here and break the bank to get Von Miller. But Von Miller is that type of player. I think he's still got a little something left in the tank. The issue is, the timing of using him. I mean, the timing, it's all about how does he work into what they want to do. Hey, you know what? Bring him on over, Mike. Bring him on over. Shoot, Big Chuck said, "Man, bring him in for you." Come on, Von Miller, man. I'm going to have to call Jerry Jones. People always say that I work for Jerry Jones. Y'all better believe if I work for Jerry Jones, hey, I'd be calling Jerry Jones right now. If I was the chaplain for the Dallas Cowboys, this would be in my prayer in front of Jerry Jones. Please, God, watch over the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones and change Jerry Jones' mind to bring in Von Miller. That would be my prayer. Bring him on in, Jerry. Let's see if we can get him for a cheap price. Von Miller, man, he's lobbying. There's no doubt about it. He is lobbying to be on the Dallas Cowboys. He talked to John Ashore, said he would love to play for the Dallas Cowboys. Says reports suggest the Cowboys could have interest in Von Miller. see what this is right here. What's the report? It says Joseph Hoyt of the Dallas Cowboys News reports that his sources say there is nothing to report back on this front yet, which suggests there's a chance the Cowboys may have interest. Wait a minute now. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. So they're telling me that no report is the proof of report. Stop this stuff, man. Boy, this offseason talk is crazy, man. Stop this talk. So somebody said that the proof of the interest is the fact that the Cowboys say they have no interest. What are we talking about, man? Boy, this is crazy. Man. It says Hoyt noted that Miller, the Cowboys defensive coordinator, Christian Parker were together in Denver. So there's some familiarity there. Oh, this is crazy. It says, do the Cowboys have need for Von Miller? Says the team can never have enough good edge rushers, so the answer is yes. Yeah, I'd say he could help the Dallas Cowboys. There's no doubt in my mind he could help the Dallas Cowboys. Then consider the circumstances the Cowboys have an edge rusher, and that only reinforces the idea that Dallas could use Miller. Now, this is what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to sit here and say, based on what the Cowboys have, that's why we need Von Miller. I'm not going to say that. Each of Dallas's edge rushers have a concern. Rashan Gary was a no-show in the second half of the season. Context, why? The Green Bay Packers were severely injured. He was the only man, and when you're the only man, you're a lot easier to scheme for. Donovan Ezeraku, yeah, coming off the hip, I can understand. Malachi Lawrence, I'm good on Malachi Lawrence. James Houston, I'm good on James Houston. Sam Williams, we'll see if Sam Williams makes it out of camp. But I think they're underestimating the Dallas Cowboys and the effect that BT Jordan is going to have on this team. Von Miller can help. I'm not going to say that the Cowboys, what they currently have is not good enough, because I do think it's good enough, but I don't think we want good enough. I think we want better than good enough. And Von Miller would just be another piece that would help you be better. I'm not mad. Bring in Von Miller, man. Bring in Von Miller. I'm not mad. Bring him on in. Von Miller showed he still had some gas in the tank after posting 9 sacks in 17 games. Making the total more impressive is the fact that Miller only played 37% of the snaps. Now, I'm not going to be blinded by this. Do y'all remember last year? We brought in another pass rusher who was coming off of a 10-sack season. Came in here with the Cowboys, didn't do nothing. His name is Dante Fowler. Dante Fowler came off of a 10-sack season, didn't do nothing. Now, do I believe Von Miller is better than Dante Fowler? Yes. But I'm not going to go off of this as far as Von Miller goes. Von Miller is just a heck of an athlete. Bottom line, he's just a gifted athlete. And I think he can help us. I really do. I think Von Miller can help us. I do. I would not be mad if the Dallas Cowboys got Von Miller. I absolutely wouldn't be mad about it. Von Miller is definitely lobbying. Definitely lobbying. And I think being in Dallas is a great incentive for him. I really do. I think he wants to go out on top. And I think he believes he can do that with the Cowboys. Says here the problem with signing Miller is that he would take snaps away from young players like Lawrence and Ezeraku. So the Cowboys have to weigh the immediate impact of Miller could make versus the potential negative impact that taking snaps away from those two can have. Now, let's say this. I'm going to look at this in a different way as it applies to Von Miller. And y'all tell me what y'all think. I actually believe Von Miller can help Malachi Lawrence, and I believe he can also help Donovan Ezeraku. And not only can he help Lawrence and Ezeraku, but with Ezeraku coming off a hip injury, and with Malachi Lawrence being a rookie, I think it would be great for them to have Von Miller working in there. To see, just to watch a veteran like him who still has a lot of great physical ability, to watch a guy like him go to work. I think it would be beneficial for him. Von Miller don't need a lot of snaps. I don't think he wants to play a lot of snaps. Man, Von Miller, you think about it, 17 games. You're talking about, let's say he got 10 snaps a game. So that's 170 snaps. Maybe he got a little bit more. But when you got a player of his ilk, I think he could be effective in limited play. I think he could be very effective in limited play. Hey, man, we're just going to give you about 10, 12 snaps a game. And if you really raising hell out there as the season goes on, maybe we'll give you 15 in a game. Maybe we'll give you 15 in a game, whatever the case may be. I think it would be great. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I think it would be absolutely great for the young players to play with a guy like Von Miller. I don't really see a lot of negatives of bringing in Von Miller. I just don't. I'm not worried about them snaps. Von don't want a lot of snaps. Shoot. Trust me what I tell us. Man, Von ain't trying to get no whole bunch of snaps, man. He ain't trying to get no whole bunch of snaps. Says here, I have a natural urgency because of my age. My immediate tomorrows are a big thing to me, Jerry said. So Jerry's been expressing this urgency. Says, Hort's report leaves the door ajar for a possible Miller signing. Only time will tell if it actually happens. I'm still laughing at what they said. They said that there's nothing coming out of Dallas, that they're interested. And then the guy says, and that means that they're interested. What the? Okay. All right, whatever, man. Whatever. Tell you this, though. I am not going to be mad if our beloved Dallas Cowboys bring in one Von Miller. But I do want to show you this. This is our bonus conversation. We're going to tack a bonus conversation onto the Von Miller conversation. How about we look at the top ranked edge rushers and include this in the conversation? Because again, when you think about edge rushers, nobody would consider Von Miller a top edge rusher in the game. But when you look at the defensive tackles that we have, Von Miller, and let me tell you something. You line Von Miller opposite of Rashan Gary, and you have Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams. Whew, man, hold on a second. We might be on to a little something. Von Miller opposite of Rashan Gary with Quinnen and Kenny in the middle. We might be on to something. I'll be honest with you. I would not be mad seeing that. I would not be mad seeing that, y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Rashan Gary was eating the first 7 games in Green Bay before everybody started going down with injuries. I wouldn't mind. I'm telling you. We them boys, he said, talking about Von Miller in a positive way, looking at it in a positive way. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, I just think he would help. Demetrius said, gee, was Dante following the team last year? I think so. He must have been chasing his shadow because he never heard his name. Boy, I'm telling you something, man. Boy, Dante Fowler was one of the biggest disappointments of last season, man. He was the biggest disappointment. Michael Lee said, yeah, he'd be a teacher right there. I would love to have him. I would love to have him. 72 Chevelle, great on the field coach, and I would love to have him. What's going on? There will be blood. I would love to have him. Robert Dudley said 10 to 15 snaps. Man, I would love to have him. Absolutely. I wouldn't even start him out with 10 snaps in a game. I may start him out with maybe 7 or 8. And as the season went on, maybe I ramp him up a little bit. But Von Miller is one of those players, if you got him, you can play him situationally. Very situationally. A guy that could just come in and just make impact on a game. Absolutely. Just make impact on a game. But I want to give us this bonus on the top edge rushers, since we're talking about Von Miller. And then we're going to come back to Von Miller because I want to listen to 105.3 talk about Von Miller. But the thing that's funny to me when you look at the edge rusher rank, see, you don't really, is contrary to what people think, you don't need the top ranked edge rushers in the game. For everybody who was crying about, Myles Garrett. Well, he hasn't registered a Super Bowl yet. This is possibly going to be his first one. But up until this point, he hasn't registered one yet. So when you look at the top ranked edge rushers, I want to throw this in here. Top ranked edge rushers. Look at this. They're going to also have something in common. Yeah, Everett, I'm signing them to a 1-year deal for sure. Yeah, I'm signing them to a 1-year deal for sure. For sure. What up, Rico Jones? For sure, I'm signing him to a 1-year deal. Probably sign him to a 2-year deal. I'd probably sign him to a 2-year deal. So I could kind of figure out, I could manage his money better. Probably put him on a 2-year deal. Oh, Quinnen. Why doesn't the team he played for want him? Talking about Von Miller. I think it was just more about them just bringing him in. I can't remember who he played for last. Look that up in a moment. Let's look at the top ranked edge rushers. Myles Garrett. Top ranked edge rusher. One of the highest paid edge rushers in the game. No Super Bowl. Show me all the stats you want to. He's great. We all know he's great. Myles Garrett is probably one of the best to ever do it. First ballot Hall of Famer. No Super Bowl. Michael Parsons. Maybe people not familiar with who this is. He used to play for the Dallas Cowboys at once upon a time. Tell me anything you want to about Michael Parsons. No Super Bowls. None. Coming off an ACL tear, we're going to see what happens with the Green Bay Packers. No Super Bowls. Will Anderson Jr. for the Houston Texans. Absolute monster. Signed a $150 million deal. No Super Bowl. Isn't it strange? By the time we got to number 3 with the defensive tackles, we already had 2 Super Bowls. We're at number 3 on the edge rushers. Not a Super Bowl. Max Crosby. Everybody cried about Max Crosby. Everybody talking about give up George Pickens for Max Crosby. He don't have a Super Bowl either. No Super Bowl. No Super Bowl. That don't mean these guys aren't good. I'm just telling you the facts, Jack. No Super Bowl. Aiden Hutchinson. One of the highest paid edge rushers in the game. Guess what? No Super Bowl. Danielle Hunter, number 6. Absolute monster again. No Super Bowl. TJ Watt, Pittsburgh Steelers, ain't going to no Super Bowl. Ain't going. Ain't going to no Super Bowl. As long as he with Pittsburgh Steelers. Ain't going. One of the highest paid edge rushers in the game. Ain't going. We need to go ahead and get I tell you what, we talking about Von Miller. We need to find a way to get the Pittsburgh Steelers to come off of Alex Highsmith. That's what we need to figure out how to do. We need to figure out a way to get them doggone Pittsburgh Steelers off of Alex Highsmith. Number 8, Nick Bosa. Isn't it literally insane when you think about it? We're at number 8. And Nick Bosa is the only one of these edge rushers who has actually sniffed a Super Bowl. He's the only one. Nick Bosa. He's the only one that sniffed a Super Bowl. And he still ain't got no ring. He ain't got no ring. Brian Burns, New York Giants. Number 9, no rain. Nick Bonito, number 10. Guess what he got in common? No rain. Jared Verse, honorable mention. Trey Hendrickson, Josh Hines. Anybody see the correlation between all of the top edge rushers in the game? No Super Bowl. No Super Bowl. No Super Bowl. No Super Bowl. You want to know why they don't have Super Bowls? There's probably a correlation here. It's hard to put players around edge rushers who are approaching quarterback money. You would actually be better off going the same route that the Super Bowl teams are going. I would rather pay top paid defensive tackles. I would rather pay top paid defensive tackles and have me a couple of defensive tackles and then go out there and get me a good edge rusher. That's what I would do. I'd go out there and get me a good edge rusher because the statistics are showing that you don't need a top 10 edge rusher in the game to win the Super Bowl. But what you do need is top defensive tackles in the game. I'm laughing that folk keep trying to argue against this. You can't argue against it. You can't argue against it because the facts are the facts. People can tell me anything they want to. Nope. The facts are the facts. Show me you're serious about winning a Super Bowl by showing me who are your offensive and defensive tackles. Show me. Show me. I'll put this stat, man, I'm telling you, I was the first one I heard talking about this. I'll put this up against anything anybody will tell me. Everybody was crying about Micah Parsons. For what? For what? You think he was bringing us a Super Bowl by getting 12, 13, 14, and 15, and 16 sacks? I got news for us. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. D-Cuz Worley, none of them had no ring, man. Not a one of them. Tell me anything you want to. This is why, Cowboys Nation, I wouldn't mind bringing in Von Miller. Why? Because Von Miller is no longer a top 10 edge rusher in the game. But what Von Miller can be for you is that because he is a physical freak, he is great at rushing the passer. Man, you bring Von Miller in, bro. Hey, Von, all we need is 10 to 15 snaps a game, bruh. You go in here 10 to 15 snaps a game. Get us a sack against the Green Bay Packers. Get us a sack against the Baltimore Ravens. Get us a sack against the Eagles. Get us a sack against the Giants. Get us one against the Commanders. Get us one against the Rams. Get us one against the Seahawks. Make some game-changing plays, Vaughn. We don't need you to be the best edge rusher in the game. We just need you to do what you do best. Get us some sacks. That's all we need you to do. We don't need you to stop the run. We don't need you. We're not going to even put that on your shoulders, man. We're not even going to put that on your shoulders. Just come in here and do spot work for us, bro. That's all we need. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm not mad at the Cowboys if they bring in Von Miller because I think he is actually one of the type of players that you need. I think he's one of those types of players. Frank Lawrence, appreciate that super chat, my brother. He said, gee, Myles Garrett has played in 3 playoff games during his NFL career. He has a career playoff record of 1-2, registering 5 tackles and 1 sack. Yep. And Frank Lawrence, you already know. Man, we were talking about this when Micah Parsons was on the team, Frank Lawrence. Man, Micah Parsons disappeared in some of them playoff games. He disappeared when he was at the Cowboys. He just disappeared. Just fell off the face of the map in the Cowboys playoff games. It is better to have top defensive tackles and good edge rushers than it is to have the best edge rusher and okay to good defensive tackles. It ain't working for folk. It's not working for folk. Demetrius Noel, he said, gee, it's been 20 years since any team with the most sacks won the Super Bowl. What is that saying? There it is. You know what that's telling us, Demetrius Noel? That sacks is sexy, but stopping the run, championships. Stopping the run, championships, man. Man, when you can stop the run, boy, you put teams in a headlock, man. Yeah, Blakey, we had already talked about the Von Miller thing. Let's add another piece to the puzzle. Look at this. Found this today. Let me see here. Where is it? Man, let me show y'all something that's going to blow y'all's mind. Shout out to the person that did this homework. I stumbled across it. His name is Art of Divine, Detroit Lions fan. This was 2 years ago. So it's 2 years ago, but it's amazing to me that even though this was 2 years ago, it still stands true. Look at this, Cowboys Nation. Tell me this isn't crazy. It says in the past 20 years, almost every team that won the Super Bowl had a standout defensive lineman, a pass rusher. We need to trade for a difference maker. Now, he was talking about the Lions. But I'm about to show you something that's absolutely crazy when you look at the list that he compiled. When you look at the list that he compiled, look at how many defensive tackles on here. And we can even go to 2024 with the Rams. We can go to 2025 with the Seahawks of how good their defensive tackles were. Look at the defensive tackle play. 2023, Chris Jones. 2022, Aaron Donald. Look at this. 2021, Ndamukong Suh. I mean, look at this. Almost in every instance, you got these great defensive tackles. Chris Jones. 2019, the Patriots had no line star. Look at this. Eagles. Fletcher Cox. Brandon Graham. The Patriots, no top defensive line star. Look at this. Von Miller, 2016. But wait a minute. Let me show you what's so ironic about the year that Von Miller did it. Look who else was on the team. He had DeMarcus Ware. Man, you telling me you had Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware? See, a lot of people try to go back to that Broncos Super Bowl and say, yeah, man, Von Miller killed it. Oh, yeah, when you got DeMarcus Ware on the other side. What? And they're not even mentioning the defensive tackles for the Broncos in 2016 who were absolute monsters too. What? Man, that 2016 Bronco defensive line was nasty. But look, isn't it strange? What is predominantly on this list? Defensive tackles. That's what's predominantly on this list. You're talking 20 plus years of data. Shout out to Art of the Divine. You are looking at it right here. Look at the Giants even in 2007. Notice, they didn't have one edge rusher. They had two. Michael Strahan, and I thought Justin Tuck was an edge. He might have been a tackle. My mind don't think back that far. Look at the Giants the second time. Justin Tuck, Jason Pierre-Paul. Whenever you win these games with these edge rushers, you are seeing a trend. They need two of them. Yeah, they need two of them. They need bookends on these things. I'm telling us, this argument with these edge rushers, people can tell me anything they want to. They can give me any stat. They can give me any film. But the proof is in the pudding. the teams that are winning the Super Bowls. It is the defensive tackle play that has predominantly on defense helped those teams to win Super Bowls. It's the defensive tackle play. And even when you go back to those 2007 Giants, man, that doggone defensive line was the truth. It wasn't just Strahan. It wasn't just Tuck. That defensive line gave Tom Brady hell. I bet you Tom Brady had to have 4 years of therapy once he got done with the Giants. I guarantee you. The same way Patrick Mahomes had to have therapy after that Philadelphia Eagle game. I guarantee you, them 2 years that Tom Brady got beat by the Eagles, by the Giants, those 2 years, guarantee he's in some kind of therapy. Boys gave him nightmares, man. That defensive line. And don't discount the coaching. Don't discount the coaching. The coaching was superb. It was absolutely superb, Dallas Cowboy fans. It was superb. But again, that's a little bit of a bonus as we conclude our Von Miller segment. I was going to play 105.3 The Fan, but I think I've done enough. I think we've talked enough about it, and I've given you the proof. Man, hey, you know what? Bring in Von Miller. I think he'd be a perfect addition. Yeah, Poobie D, man, when you go back and look at those doggone defensive lines, man, even with those edge rushers, those tackles were incredible. That Giants line in 2007 was incredible. And it was incredible again in 2011. Them boys had lines, man. Shoot. 72 Javale said, yeah, Brady had more help than people realize. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Defenses win championships all the time. All right, Cowboys Nation, let's move on to our next few topics, and these are going to be a little bit quicker than the other ones. Now, this article is over on DallasCowboys.com, and I thought it was very interesting. Cornerback with the most to prove from the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes! Here we go!
Cornerback with the most to prove. Now, I've already been telling y'all this. Some of y'all are concerned with the Dallas Cowboys defensive back room. I'm actually not as concerned with the Dallas Cowboys defensive back room as I am concerned with DaRon Bland. DaRon Bland is where a lot of my concern lies with the Dallas Cowboys cornerback room. Because DaRon Bland is a huge part of what the Cowboys are trying to do. He is the difference between the Cowboys actually having to use 2 rookie cornerbacks versus 1 rookie cornerback. He's the difference. And so the issue is, we need DaRon Bland to not only be healthy, we need DaRon Bland to change out his church shoes. We need DaRon Bland to be A1 this season. We absolutely do. We need DaRon Bland to be, and I'm not saying we need DaRon Bland to go back and be the DaRon Bland that got however many interceptions that he got. We don't necessarily need him to be that. It'd be nice if he was that. It would be nice if he was that. But we do need DaRon Bland. We need DaRon Bland to play better. We need DaRon Bland to do that. Hold on a second. I'm doing some. We need DaRon Bland to do that. We absolutely do. We need DaRon Bland to come in here and be healthy. We need him to be healthy. We absolutely do. Because at this point, he's just not healthy. And we need him to be healthy, because if he's healthy, then it'll help us do some other things. But if he's not healthy, DaRon Bland may have us scrambling, doing some stuff that we may not want, that we may not want to do. Kippy's in the building. He said Von Miller is washed. Kippy, I don't mind having him in because I don't think he's going to play that kind of role. I think he'd be more of a role player for the Cowboys, and I think he could probably do something in that situation. Now, the problem with Josh Sweat that the Cowboys are going to have is that in order to get Josh Sweat, the Cowboys are going to have to go and fix some contracts. They're going to go and have to do some contracts. Because if I'm not mistaken, the Cowboys only have, at the present moment, the Cowboys only have $5 million. That's all the Cowboys have. $5 million in cap space, unless I'm wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But the Cowboys only have $5 million in cap space. So you talking about Josh Sweat, you're going to actually have to go in there and do some deals, man. You really are. You got to go in there and say, okay, we're going to go ahead and extend Quinnen Williams, which the Cowboys are going to do anyway, and we got to go in there and extend George Pickens. And you're going to have to do one of the two of those this year. Me, preferably, it would be George Pickens. I'd rather the Cowboys go ahead and get George Pickens in if they could. 817, you dig? What up, you dig? He said we need Arnold if he becomes available. Now, and this is another reason too, Cowboy fans, we can just be patient. July the 15th, I think there'll be some things shaking and moving in the NFL. So we'll see what the Cowboys do in that situation. And then as we get closer to the preseason, we're going to see some things shaking down. I think the Cowboys are going to have more opportunities to, if they want to improve cornerback room, they'll be able to. If they want to improve the edge rushing room, they'll be able to. If they want to improve the linebacker room, they'll be able to. We're going to have to wait until July the 15th. So again, I am still with Dak Prescott on this stuff. Right now, I don't think the Cowboys have to do anything. Let's get to that August 11th game. Let's let these guys get some practice in, and let's see what we look like against the Rams. And then after that game, we can start talking about adding some people. Poobie D said, yeah, we got $5.5 million, so we ain't got a whole lot. So that means the Cowboys are going to have to get in there, guys, and start working some deals. Start working some deals. All right, so let's move over here to this thing about the cornerback with the most to prove. Over here on DallasCowboys.com, this is actually a story from DallasCowboys.com. I don't know if y'all read this or not. But they were asking the question about, they were asking some of the Cowboys beat writers, which cornerback has the most to prove? Which cornerback has the most to prove? And it says this was written July the 7th. Okay, I want to make sure. It says this was written July the 17th, 2026. Cornerback with the most to prove. Number 15. Which cornerback has the most to prove? Says the Cowboys are set to depart for training camp in less than a month. That's when we'll get an up-close look at Brian Schottenheimer's second season with his revised roster and coaching staff. When we get to Oxnard, that's when we'll start to get some real answers about the 2026 Cowboys team. I agree. But what are the questions? We've compiled our annual list of pressing questions that need to be answered heading into the regular season. Staff writers consisting of Patrick Walker, Tommy Yarish, Nick Eatman, Mickey Spagnola, and Kurt Daniels weigh in on some of the Cowboys' pressing issues. Today, we'll continue the series with a look at the Cowboys' cornerback room and which player has the most to prove in 2026 after the unit as a whole struggled last season. And the cornerback with the most approved for the Dallas Cowboys is no surprise to anybody. It is none other than DaRon Bland, according to Tommy Yarish. And I think a lot of us will agree. Tommy Yarish writes, DaRon Bland, since his historic 2023 season, where he broke the NFL record for pick sixes with 5, the question has always been, can he do it again or continue to play at a similar level? And the answer so far has been no. It says asking Bland to get multiple pick sixes in and year in and year out is unreasonable. However, it's fair to expect that Bland can solidify himself as one of the better corners in the league and certainly be someone who can take away his side of the field in coverage. Man, he said take away the side of the field. Unfortunately, due to injury, there it is. He hasn't had the opportunity to show that as much with just, look at this, guys. 19 games since 2023. To what? Do y'all know how crazy that is? What's even crazier to me is the Cowboys extended Bland having these issues. The Cowboys extended Bland having these issues. I'm dumbfounded. I'm all for the Cowboys getting deals done early. DaRon Bland was a deal I didn't feel the Cowboys had to get done early. I didn't. Bland got a 4-year, $90 million extension. What were the Cowboys thinking? This is crazy. What up, Bass? I mean, why would they do this? Coming off of foot surgery. They gave him a $90 million extension. Jawan 100. He said 19 games is diabolical. It is. It's diabolical. Yeah, you dig, I'm with you. I hope they're in the past. Patrick said the same thing. DaRon Bland. He said there are younger guys with pressure on them as well. One such name that comes to mind is Kalen Carson. Kalen Carson, to me, is good as cut. It says, and Savon Revel Jr., we good with Savon. But Bland, and hey, Kobe Durant's going to be major. But man, DaRon Bland. It says Trayvon Diggs is gone. That makes Bland the leader of the cornerback unit. Needing to overcome recent availability due to his foot to have any shot at reminding the NFL of why he's a pick 6 king. Look at this. It says, and this is the key, neither of them nor Kobe Durant has as much pressure on them as DaRon Bland. Former first-team All-Pro and record-setting cornerback set to hit the Cowboys salary cap for $17 million per year over the next 2 seasons and another $26 million combined in 28 and 29. I don't think he'll see that. I think it's around $50 million guaranteed. I didn't understand this deal. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the DaRon Bland deal. Mickey Spagnola says Savon Revel Jr. has the most to prove. I don't think so. He was a rookie last year. I don't think even Kalen Carson to me doesn't have anything to prove. I'm just going to be shocked if the Cowboys keep Kalen Carson. I'm going to be shocked. And I'm going to keep my eyes out tomorrow. Terrion Arnold. I'm telling y'all, man, I've been on this Terrion Arnold story. We're going to find out something here this week. Because the teams that are interested in Terrion Arnold, they're going to be at the workout. He's either working out for teams or there's going to be a workout and teams are going to send representatives to watch Terrion Arnold. And I'm going to be looking for if the Cowboys are going to send somebody. But without Terrion Arnold in the equation, I don't understand the DaRon Bland. I'm really dumbfounded on the DaRon Bland deal. I'm dumbfounded on it. Let me see here. Contract for Deron Bland. Contract, I believe, actually, it actually begins next year. Let's see. This is the Deron Bland contract. It included a $22 million signing bonus. Excuse me, $49 million guaranteed. These are the cap hits. 2026, $17 million cap hit. The potential out for the deal. So it's basically a 2-year deal. Cowboys can get from up under the deal in 2027. And I got a strange feeling this is exactly what the Cowboys are going to do unless Deron Bland balls out, Cowboys Nation. I believe the Cowboys are going to cut Deron Bland. I think it'll be 2027. Yeah, it'll be 2027. That's where it'll be. So he's got 2 years. He's got 2 years. Yep, this is where it's going to hit. $12 million. $4 million in 2027, $8 million in 2028. It's probably what the Cowboys are going to do. So the issue is with him is will you be able to trade him? Question is, I mean, who's going to trade for him? I mean, he's got to show somebody something for them to even think about trading for him. But I'm giving him this year and next, and I got a feeling that Bland will be gone unless he really, really shows something. And it's really it's sad with Bland because his biggest issue has been, I guess we can chalk up last year to an injury. I guess we can chalk it up to an injury if that's what we want to do. But Deron Bland, that's kind of what we're looking at. Poopy D, boy, Bridges? Nah, Bridges gone, man. I think that bridge is burnt. Demetrius Noel said, they traded Sam, Schoonmaker, Carson, and Clarence Hill to the Dolphins for Jordan Brooks. Phew, I wish they would. Man, I wish they would. Send them all. Send them all, bro. For Jordan Brooks, man, bring it on. Your dig said they're gonna do it. Yeah, they put an escape plan in. Yeah, I think it'll be this year next. Yeah, Finis Wickware, ain't no way we getting Christian Gonzalez from the Patriots. You don't trade that kind of cornerback. He too good. All right, and that's the story on Deron Bland. All right, let's go to a couple of quick hits here real quick.
Yes! Here we go!
So our next few stories, these are pretty much going to be quick hits except for the Twin Tech podcast, and we're going to get a couple of questions. We're going to go a couple more questions on them when we close out. Rashan Gary. I'm really confused on why people are hating on Rashan Gary so hard. And I really think Rashan Gary is going to have a fascinating year for the Dallas Cowboys. I believe he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. I know that he knows what people are out there barking about him. And it's got to be frustrating. Looks like our beloved Jane Slater, she had a recent interview with none other than Rashan Gary. And this is what Rashan Gary had to say.
Dallas, now you told me that you've been training here and you started here with your combine training. Does it feel like you're a little bit home?
Yeah, it's kind of a full circle moment, being able to train for the combine at MJP, being able to now be a Dallas Cowboy. It's just a full circle moment. I'm honored, appreciative, and just can't wait to go to work for Cowboy Nation.
You've been in the league for a while. We've talked to a lot of guys, and the question we've been asking is how different is this defense really? Can you explain?
Yeah, just being able to be around some of the offensive guys, Dak, things like that, just being able to, me being a new part of the defense, how can I help? But just off the rip, man, just night and day difference. You know, he says it makes it a lot harder on them. You know, giving them different looks, things like that. And you know, as a defense, being able to prepare against offense like that, man, is iron sharper iron.
Christian Parker, 34, first time as a defensive coordinator. What's been your impression of him so far?
Man, smart, intelligent, and understands how to use his players so far. You know, going through OTAs and minicamp, understands how to get matchups, understanding, you know, how to, you know, mess with the quarterback. You know, in terms of, you know, making them check calls. You know, check into a play that they don't want to particularly check into. So it's been fun. It's only going to, you know, get bigger and bigger and more.
You know, everyone.
See, this is the discussion that I've been having about Christian Parker. See, people don't get it. Koye Media did a great film session on this. But a lot of people don't realize it wasn't until Green Bay started getting injured that Rashan Gary couldn't get a sack. And they kept getting injured. That Green Bay defense got depleted by the end of the season. It was depleted. So it was basically Rashan Gary, and that was pretty much it. And when you go back and look at the film, the dude was balling. He just ran up against some quarterbacks that could get away from him. He ran up against some quarterbacks that could get away from him. But Rashan Gary can actually play. And with Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark, I'm excited. Not only that, he's going to be in the Christian Parker system. Not only that, he's got BT Jordan here. BT Jordan will be here when the season starts. All that hiring BT Jordan to train your defensive ends, that's going to all be over with once the season starts. I'm pretty sure that's going to stop once everybody start going to training camp. BT Jordan will be in the Cowboys training camp. He's one of the coaches. I'm not worried about what Gary was in Green Bay. I'm more concerned about what Gary is in Dallas, in this system, with Christian Parker. I'm more interested in that, and I think he's going to do well here. I really do. I think he's going to do well here.
Talks about Caleb Downs being the first-round pick, but there was another one, Malachi Lawrence, and yesterday he joked that he's kind of always been in the shadows. We're not really talking about him a lot, but he made a point to say that you've really taken him under his wing. Why?
You know, just being a former first-round pick, you know, understanding, you know, the things that's asked of him, and just understanding, man, I just want him to know that football is football, man. You're here for a reason. You know, you have the talent, you have all the ability, and just being with a guy like me that's, you know, on top of the details, that's hungry, you know, still have a lot to give to this game, still have a lot to prove, you know, for myself, man. You know, the sky's the limit for me and him. So just being able to have, you know, a rookie like that, you know, allowed me to, you know, help him in things like that, and always coming to me, you know, with questions, I'm able to give them answers, and you know, sometimes, you know, we're figuring things out on the spot, you know, us, you know, with this new defense, things like that. But man, just his attention to details and just his want to get better, man, it's been great to see it.
Yeah, great leader, man. Sean Gary's over here in a great system, great culture, being a leader. Demetrius said it's easy for your production to drop when you become the main focus and no supporting cast. See, Demetrius Noel, this is the thing that even Michael Parsons complained about when he was here. But I just want y'all to imagine this, and we don't have to imagine it, but just imagine it. Could you imagine if we would have had Michael Parsons, Kenny Clark, and Quinnen Williams? What would that defense look like? What would it look like with Michael Parsons on a defense where he's not the primary playmaker? We saw what it looked like in Green Bay last year when he was over there just being the chess piece. Before they started getting injured, and then Michael Parsons kind of went back full circle to where he was in Dallas, and he was now being called on to actually be the man. Productivity isn't the same when people can just say, okay, all we got to do is key on him. He's the best player on the team. But before they got injured, they couldn't do that. And Michael Parsons was over there eating. Rashan Gary was over there eating too. 7 sacks in the first 7 games. He was eating 2 when they were healthy. And that leads me to believe that Rashan Gary is going to eat here also. With us being healthy and the players that we have, and most of all, the system that we're playing. Gary gonna be all right, y'all. I just think it's amazing to me. People say, yeah, we got to see it on the field. Yeah, when it comes to success. But when it comes to failure, oh, we don't have to see it on the field. He's not going to be that good. It's just double-mindedness. Demetrius Noel said it's easy for your production to drop. Yeah, again, when you don't have that main supporting cast, man, it's so easy. It requires a team to win championships.
Lucky to have you. We're lucky to have you in Dallas. And I had to crack up. He said the reason why he decided to train here in the offseason is because he liked the weather. See how you feel about that in August.
Yeah,
Thank you
bro.
so much, Rashan.
It's hot over here. Like Nelly said, man, it's hot in here, man, over here in this Metroplex, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. You said you want to trade over here for the weather. Yeah. Jabril, he said, yeah, unstoppable force. Yeah. Bad said, I'll take 007 Rashan Gary. Yeah. What up, Chef Pope? All right. Another quick hit story. Man, let me tell you something. This is just a little bit of film. But boy, let me tell you something. I'm not gonna get my hopes up just yet. But Tyler Guyton, in this small clip,
The recruit.
in this small clip, Cowboys Nation, it's a small clip, but he's been training again. I forget. Oh, Big Duke 50, offensive line masterminds training. Man, I don't know if y'all saw this video, but man, I'm gonna tell you this. Man, I think Tyler Guyton, man, I talked about his feet a couple of years ago. Man, his footwork. I want y'all to pay attention to his footwork. Let me blow this up for you. This is him and Terrence Steele. Man, look at this.
Yesterday we worked on being able to recruit, all right, root our feet, engage,
What up,
depart,
Keith
and
George?
maintain. So now we want to add in that
Look at Terrence
speed
Steele.
to power tight hand bull, the speed to power long arm, and then the speed, all right, to like kind of the ghost dip and rip.
Now, let's think about this. Terrence Steele will be 2 years removed from a serious knee injury. Tyler Guyton, 3rd year. And just kind of what I'm looking at right here with Tyler Guyton's feet, they just look so much better. Man, this dude, Guyton. Man, Guyton is looking, he came in looking better last year. He looks pretty good this year too.
Love to see it. Finito, great work, fellas. Yesterday we worked on
Let's look at these
being
feet
able to
again.
recruit, all right, root our feet,
Look at the feet.
engage, depart, and maintain. So now we want to add in that speed to power tight hand bull, the speed to power long arm, and then the speed.
This, I'm telling you, was Guyton's biggest issue last year. This was his biggest issue last year before. I talked about his feet. It's his feet, man. He doesn't get his feet in front of him and moving with his body sometimes. He'll try to hand check or hand block, leads to a hold, leads to a whiff. He doesn't get his body whipped around with his feet. Well, you look at what he's working on now. Hey, we got to see it when we get to Oxnard. But I like I like the way the feet are moving. Feet look real quick.
Yesterday we worked on being able to recruit, all right, root our feet, engage, depart, and maintain.
I think
So now
that's
we wanna
LT
add
Overton
in
too, isn't it?
That speed to power tight hand bull, the speed to power long arm, and then the speed, all right, to like kind of the ghost dip and rip.
Yeah, that boy Guyton is definitely in shape, man.
Love to see it. Finito, great work, fellas. Yesterday we worked on
Yeah, he definitely
being
in
able to
shape.
recruit, all right, root our feet, engage,
Yeah, I think that's
depart,
LT Overton
and
too.
maintain. So now we want to add in that speed to power
I
tight
think
hand
that's
bull,
either Steele
the
or Overton.
speed to power long arm, and then the speed and maintain. So now we want to add in that speed to power tight hand bull, the speed to power.
All right, like what I'm seeing so far. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing. Let's see if he can keep it up. Let's see if he can keep it up. See if it can translate onto the field. Because again, tell me you're serious about a Super Bowl. Show me who your offensive and defensive tackles are. I'm good with the defensive tackles. I need these offensive tackles to step it up. Frank Lawrence says, Shotty building something special here in Dallas. You can feel it. Yeah, you're right. And the better players know it and want to play here. Yeah. Yes. Brandy says she's sick of both of them. Hey, they all we got, Brandy. We can't start over. Can't start over. Bass said LG French double door refrigerator with legs. Yeah, we gotta get them going. What up, Christian Legal? We gotta get them going. Bass said he drops his hands way too early, and if he beats, and if he's beat, he does use his feet. If he's on, he's a freak athlete. There. Yeah. Yeah, got to get his hands and feet placement on point. Yes. There will be blood, said I said it before. Guyton is a mountain from the Game of Thrones. Yeah, man. I think he'll be good to go if he can just put it all together and stay on the field. Poobie D said, just keep up the work, young fella. Brandon said, run, Dak, run. Yeah. Yeah, they are all putting in the work. That is for sure. They are putting in the work, Quinn. They putting in work, man. They are putting in work. Demetrius said, all Terrence Guyton needs to do is deliver that right hook like he did that Eagles defender, and the rest of the league will get the message. Yeah, man. Yeah, Bass said, I want his jab at the loss to be way more aggressive and violent. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be okay, man. I think it's going to be okay. We just got to see it on the field this year. I'm very excited for Oxnard, California. I want to see what he does. All right, let's get into another quick hit.
Yes! Here we go!
I don't know if y'all saw this story. Okay, hold on a second. I'll roll this back a little bit with the time. I don't know if y'all have seen this story, but this Rashan Gary story is very concerning. And I don't know, it may not be from the position that some of you may see, but I'm always concerned about these types of stories. So the story now is Rashan Gary. Rashan Gary and CTE. Anytime I see these things, I get very concerned.
I received an email today with the press.
And I get very concerned about these CTE discussions because I get what people are talking about. But sometimes the way they present these CTE stories, I just don't think they're presenting them right. I don't think they're presenting them right. Because here's the problem with the CTE discussion. There's no way to diagnose CTE when somebody is alive. And nobody actually knows, when do you actually get it? Do you get it in high school? Do you get it in college? Do you get it in the pros? And then somebody has an incident. somebody has an incident, the Rashan Gary incident. This is where I get very concerned. So how do we know that him having CTE was the cause of what he did? I get very concerned when they start having these conversations. Because there's no proof. There's actually no proof that those two things are connected. There's no proof. But we say those things. What does it mean? Okay, he had CTE. What does that mean? What does it mean? Is that why it happened? I don't buy this stuff. I don't think there's enough research out there to tie some of these things together. Let me see if I can read some of what they're talking about. It says here, former Dallas Cowboys edge rusher Rashan Gary died from a self-inflicted, you already know. He had stage 1 chronic traumatic, CTE at the time of his death. Researchers from Boston University performed a post-mortem tissue issue with Gary. Unfortunately, I was not surprised to find CTE in the brain of Mr. Gary. We have found this progressive brain disease in nearly half of the athletes we've studied who have died before the age of 30. Okay, so this becomes my problem. How did they pass? How did they pass? How do we know that other people playing currently don't have CTE? The other issue is, why are they not doing the same thing that he did? I'm telling y'all, when people start talking about this stuff, I'm telling you, the NFL better be careful with this stuff. It better be careful with this stuff. You'll mess around and there won't be contact football no more. That flag football that we're seeing become more popular, it'll be flag football. It will absolutely be flag football. How do you determine this stuff? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, because if you say the guys under 30, nearly half who they studied died at the age of 30. So did they die the same way? I'm struggling with this stuff. I'm not trying to say that it's not an issue. But my problem becomes is that every time somebody does something, we start saying it was because of that, and we're just listening to somebody say it, but they're actually not showing the connection. Where's the connection? Because why aren't more people doing what he did then? Why are they not doing it? Why is it that when we got guys who go on after football, play contact positions, and everything with them is great? And I guarantee you, if they were to test them after they've lived a long life, guess what? They'd have CTE. But you know why they wouldn't bring it up? They're not going to bring it up because there was nothing detrimental that happened to those people. We got people who have played this game and played in the trenches, banging their head against another player's helmet for years and years and years, and they're out there living very productive lives. But then when something like what happened to Rashan Gary happens, yeah, man, CTE. It's because of CTE. You have Antonio Brown out there doing stuff. Yes, it's because of CTE. Countryfield, you said people tend to do it. Okay, give me the data. Give me the data, because it don't exist. Give me the data. I get very concerned when they start talking about this because they're not giving actual data. And the reason why the data is not actual data is because they can't give you the data while they're alive. So in reality, you don't have any proof of a person doing something because of CTE when we know that there are other people out there who they've had more contact than Rashan Gary had in his lifetime. And they're not doing some of those same things. Heck, Rashan Gary even missed a year. I think these discussions, when they start having these discussions, they're just, I'm telling you right now, these discussions are dangerous because you're blaming it on something that you really can't say. I just want you to just think about what this report says. Nearly half of the athletes we've studied who died before age 30. So what about the other ones who didn't? Why didn't it affect them in a certain way? I'm just telling us this research, it leaves a lot to be desired. It leaves a lot to be desired, I'm telling us. We saw guys in an era who played with less protective gear on their head. I'm just telling us, man, we start having these conversations about this stuff. Hey, it'll be touch football before you know it. It will be touch football before you know it. This is some serious, serious stuff when you start talking about this. And that's why when they start talking about this CTE stuff, man, I just kind of like, I can't go with these discussions on CTE. I just can't do it. It's hard for me. Demetrius said, gee, those are speculation. And him being a Cowboy, they're going to make more light of it. The situation is already a real tragedy compounded by unproven scientific expression. It's tough, man. It's tough. I'm struggling with that stuff. Robert Dudley said it. He said the media will kill the NFL. Man, I'm telling you, they're doing something. What these discussions, because my question becomes, okay, where's this going? Because if this is truly what happened, so the NFL is going to have to start making a decision. I said this a few years ago before I had the channel. But the NFL is going to have to start making a decision. They are either going to have to start putting together waivers. They're going to have to put together some kind of waiver. Brandy, Rashan Gary's girlfriend said he had mental issues. What does she mean by that? What does that mean? I struggle when people say that. What does that mean? Okay, mental issues. What does that mean? What does it mean? And how do we know it's tied to CTE? This is a very slippery slope, and people keep walking on it. People keep walking on this slippery slope. 72 Chevelle, NFL cover-up. I'm not buying that entire conversation, but I understand what you're saying. And if this is true, okay, so what's the result? What's the result? At some point, either this sport is going to not be a physical sport anymore, or there are going to have to start being some waivers. Because they're not getting this from the NFL. And this is the part that people don't want to talk about. This isn't an NFL issue. These young men play football from the time they're in Pee Wee League. They're having contact in elementary, middle school, high school, college. So who takes on the brunt of the responsibility? The NFL? The NFL. Do they take on the brunt of the responsibility? Who gets the responsibility for it? This is a heavy discussion. It's a heavy discussion. Yeah, I remember that movie, Brandy. I'm telling you, that movie is not all factual. It's just not. It's just not all factual. It's not. It's almost like they cherry pick. They cherry pick whenever there's a situation like this. They cherry pick it and they say it's because of that. Really? Is it? Country Field said they don't have the data, but linebacker from San Diego and Chris Benoit from wrestling and some others say they have CTE. So again, here becomes the issue. When do they get it? When do they get it? At what age? When? A lot of these football players, they play all the way from Pee Wee League. When do they get it? When do they get it? Rico Jones, you ask a great question. Do they ever talk about boxers having CTE? Rico Jones, why is this always centered around the NFL? As you said, what about the boxers? What about the MMA fighters? What about MMA? It is one of the most brutal sports out there. What about kickboxing? What about those sports? Why is it they're always attacking the NFL with this? And the question becomes, what is the NFL going to do? The NFL is going to have to get to a point, and not just the NFL, even college football. Because y'all think about this. If somebody was to get a lawsuit about CTE, who do they sue? Who do they sue? You can't just sue the NFL because he wasn't in the NFL that long. Who do you sue? Do you sue the college that he went to also? Because it's got to be a part of it. Do you sue the high school that he went to? It's got to be a part of it. Do you sue the middle school that he went to? It's got to be a part of it. This becomes the problem when you start talking about stuff like this. Where does it start? Where does it start? Are we testing people who never played sports for CTE? Are we testing them? Are we testing them for CTE? That maybe is something that people get in general if they've ever had a concussion. This is a very heavy discussion. And it's a slippery slope when we start relating behaviors to this stuff. Because for every time you tell me that this is why somebody else did this, then my question becomes, well, why aren't other people doing this? It's one thing when you say half the people who we've actually tested under 30. Well, how many? How many did you test? Because last year, if we think about football, how many people did what Kneeland did? And they've been in the league longer than Kneeland. How many people? This is not to say anything about Kneeland because Kneeland is already gone. But when we start talking about this CTE, I'm telling you, we're going to be at a point that this is going to be touch football because I'm just waiting on when is somebody going to file a lawsuit? When? When is somebody going to file a lawsuit? Y'all do know that's all we're waiting on. When will there be a lawsuit filed? Because when the lawsuit is filed, the question will begin. Who do you sue? Where did it start? Middle school, high school, college, or the pros? Or do you sue all four? Where does it start? Where does it start? Bottom line, where does it start? Heavy discussion. I just actually hate when stuff like this, you get a person like Marshawn Kneeland, people already felt bad about what happened, and then you got to bring this into the equation. Excuse me. You got to bring this stuff into the equation. And then people automatically, they start blaming the NFL. They start blaming the NFL. It's the only people they're looking at. They're not looking at anybody else. They're looking at the NFL. And I guarantee you that if you would have asked Rashan Gary when he was alive, and I ain't going to guarantee you, but I've heard other players say this, so I won't use Rashan Gary. I've heard other players say this. If you gave them the choice, even with knowing what they know about CTE, if you gave them the choice to play football, you know what the majority of them said? They would still play football. Yes. They said they would still play football. Yes, they said they would still play the game. I get concerned when they start talking about this stuff. Bass said, gee, don't they like sign something in the contract that states that the risk they take? I'm not sure. But if they don't, they need to put something in there. I'm not sure. I mean, that needs to be in college, high school, everything. Because even if you told young men that there was a possibility of them getting CTE, I guarantee you, they're going to look at the people who have lived healthy lives, and they're still going to take the risk. 805 bus stop, he said, all sports and life opportunity to do things that put yourself at risk. Using your head isn't a good idea. 805, let me tell you something. When my sons played football, I was concerned every week. But at the end of the day, guess what, 805 bus stop? We made that decision. We made that decision every week. We did. We made that decision every week. Bama boy, you hit it right on the head. Getting in the ring with Mike Tyson, the straight suicide. Yeah, you had to know that there'd be a chance for brain damage. I'm telling you, man, what responsibility do parents play in this? They're the ones letting their children play in high school. They're the ones who even encourage their children to play in college. Do we not know how many parents do this? Who would take on the responsibility if there was a lawsuit? Who? Who would do it? There would be blood. He said lawsuit would be in order from NFL if tackling was banned, then other sports would be considered as well. And again, this is why I say the NFL need to put something in place. Nobody's attacking rugby. Rugby is more violent than the NFL, if you ask me. They're not attacking those sports. It's the NFL. Demetrius said, gee, one thing is team owners will be a lot richer if it becomes flag football for 21 weeks. I wouldn't watch it. And I bet you the viewership, Demetrius, I bet they wouldn't make more money. I bet you the viewership would plummet. Let me tell you something that people discount about women. Let me tell you something people discount about women. Women, not just men, women. Women like seeing men play sports. And not only play sports, they like to see men play contact football. Yeah, women like seeing that. You take away contact football. This is what they're discounting. We already know the moment they took away contact football, they're going to say, okay, now the women can play. Viewership would plummet. It would plummet. Football is the modern day gladiator sport. And if you look back in history, the gladiators, for as dangerous as that job was, the gladiators were the most popular people of their time. Because people loved that sport. They loved that physicality. Everybody, it would plummet. Man, ain't nobody watching no flag football. I know I'm not. Now, if you say I can watch flag football and still have NFL football, yeah, I'll watch it then, just for fun, every now and then. But if you tell me there's no more football, man, I'm not watching no flag football. I'm not doing it. What's up, Rail 9? Richard Villegas, they need more research. Exactly. Yeah, Robert Dudley, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that, bruh. For sure, I remember that. I remember that. All right. Yeah, you're right. Hey, it should be in the contract, bro. And actually, it should be from the moment you start playing high school football. Because everybody's going to play a part in it. And I think this is one of the reasons why you're not seeing people, this is one of the reasons why you're not seeing people try to sue the NFL. Because I don't believe you could actually sue the NFL, especially when you think about the fact that when does it begin? I mean, young men play more college, especially at Rashan Ghary's age. They play more college ball and high school ball than they played pros. High school is what? 4 years. College is anywhere from what? 3? Minimum of 3? You're talking 7 years of high school, college, and let's not even play. High school, college, middle school, Pee Wee League. They're playing. There it is, Mr. 72 Chevelle. Parents' responsibility, bro. I let my children go out there and play football. I did that. I let them go out there and play football. Bass said NFL is the powerhouse, but yeah, good point. If it comes down to it, where the NFL gets hit legally for tackle because of CTE, all of the leagues are put on notice. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, there is something nefarious going on with this stuff. Demetrius Noel, you ain't lying. Boy, ain't no TV network paying that kind of money to even buy the contracts. You ain't paying players $30 million for flag football. Man, them salaries plummeted. And Demetrius, even then, even with flag football, you can't stop head injuries. People get concussions in flag football. Yep. Falling on the ground, hitting your head on the ground, sometimes going for a flag, you may bump your head against somebody's head. Shoot, man. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Yeah, I'm with you, Andre Johnson, man. I ain't watching no flag football, bro. I ain't watching it. I'm not watching it, bro. Don't get me wrong. I might watch it every now and then, just because I know I got football coming up. I ain't watching it. Shoot, I ain't doing it. But again, man, when it comes to Rashan Gary, feel so sorry for his family. And I just wish people wouldn't do stuff like this. Because it's like you start trying to find somebody to blame. And then when you start trying to find somebody to blame and then you start blaming somebody, it just digs up wounds that you shouldn't be digging up. You just shouldn't. I'll be honest with you. If it was me and my son, I dedicated his body, and I'm not telling anybody else what to do, but if I did that and dedicated his brain to research, I would tell them under one condition: the results cannot be released to the public. The results could not be released to the public. Because I'll be honest with you. Had something happened to my son while he was playing football, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be mad at the school. I'd be mad at myself. I wouldn't be mad at nobody. I'd be mad at myself. Because I'm the one that let him play. I'm the one that did that. And that's why I wouldn't, these kinds of things, I hate when they start bringing these things up. And again, they start trying to blame the NFL, not realizing that I hate what happened to Rashan Gary. But think about how football, as violent as it is, and everybody loves it for the most part, as violent as it is, do we not realize how many lives that football has actually changed for the better? It has changed people's lives. They are making money they would never be able to make. They're helping people they would never be able to help. They're doing so many things. And this is the reason why I'm telling you, even with everything that people know, they would still let their children play the sport. I've known people, they didn't let their children play the sport. That's their decision. I have no problem with it. I have no problem with them making that decision. But I also don't have a problem with the decision that people make to let their children play, knowing the issue. I don't. Everything in this world is about taking a chance. It is. Some chances are just greater than others. Higher the risk, the higher the reward. Man, football is a high-risk, high-reward sport. It is. It's a high-risk, high-reward sport. And every kid who plays these days, let me tell you something. I didn't even think like this when I was growing up. But these children today, not only do the children think like what I'm about to tell y'all, even the parents think like this. Man, I coach Little League football. And you would be shocked, man. Parents their kids be in Little League, these AAU leagues or whatever they call them. And they're letting their children play with visions of sugar plums dancing in their head. Children not even in their teens yet. Yeah, he gonna play pro football one day. What? Yeah. They want you to put their kids in the game. You messing with his career. Career? He's not even a teenager. You messing with his career. He gonna play high school. He going to college. They have their whole career mapped out. Be spending thousands of dollars on their children in Little League contact football. The issue becomes who's to blame? Who's to blame? Because they play years before they played in the pros. Years. I'm telling you, man. People be having visions of sugar plums dancing in their heads. They want their children to make the pros. Bass said he see it all the time. Bass, I'm telling you. Man, they be telling you, little Johnny, man, little Johnny gonna go to the pros. And you be like, man, little Johnny don't even need to be on the team, but you paid for it, so. I mean, you paid for it. Frank Lawrence said the same political commie sitting in on the air-conditioned office who gave us participation trophies and would love to see the NFL go to flag football. Yeah, I agree with you. Shoot, I bet you I'm not watching it. Shoot, I'm not watching no flag football. I'm not watching it, man. Not watching it. Bad boy said, G, have you seen the robot automatic lawnmower? What is this world coming to? Yeah, you know what? I hate to say it, Bama boy. I've been looking at one of those. I hate to say it, Bama boy. I've been looking at one of the robots to mow the yard. They just out of my price range. Oh, boy. Oh, man, there will be blood. He said, man, stop talking about your sons, man. He said, I get what you're saying. He said, I have 2 sons who just came back from the Iran war. And I told my wife, hey, they signed up. Just understand what they signed up for. Ooh. Yeah, man. It's tough. Hey, there will be blood, bro. Prayers up, bro. I'm glad they made it home, bro. I'm glad they made it home, man. All right, let's get this last part, Twin Take Podcast. Jabril Quinn said he subscribed to the Twin Take Podcast and let them know I came from Let's Talk Cowboys. Y'all make sure y'all sign up. I want to get a couple more questions in from the Twin Take Podcast. And I'm going to be showcasing them for the I want to be showcasing them for the next couple of weeks. It's a great story. It's a great story. These young men, I like what they're doing. And I like the fact they give us some insight on Marty and Brian. And, hey, Twin Take, man, if y'all come back and listen to this portion, man, let me tell y'all something. This is one of the best, if not the best interview I've seen Brian Schottenheimer give. I haven't seen him this relaxed with no one but y'all. I'm telling y'all, man, y'all need to do more interviews with Brian Schottenheimer. I think we got more out of the Twin Takes podcast with Brian Schottenheimer than we gotten out of any interview we've heard. All right, let's get a couple more questions, then we're going to be out of here for tonight.
I had a different plan.
Had a different plan.
And, it was something that we're very humbled to be in this seat. But I think what's so cool is she and I have had a plan of what this would look like when we got this opportunity. And I think we're in the midst of implementing that plan.
Miss Jemmy, during the waiting game between figuring out if Coach Brian was going to get the job or not, what was that kind of like for you and your family?
It was awful. I'm not going to lie. No, it was, it kind of came out of nowhere. So I think walking through that part of it, just sort of trying to grasp the idea of like, are we really going to stay here and do this? That was really the hardest part. I knew that if he got this job, that it was going to be, I knew what he.
All right, we're going to skip up a little bit because we heard this part.
Have you had to rely on him throughout this long process, throughout all these coaching careers?
Oh, wow. I think, it's everything. I think if we didn't have our faith, I think we could have crumbled many times because this is such an unstable life that we live, and you never know what's next, and it's really year to year, and it's a lot of uncertainty, but I think we've just always had this solid foundation of knowing that the Lord's never going to leave us and he's never going to guide us in the wrong direction. We may not like it, but I think that we just know that that's what we're doing is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. Like if you had said to us, actually, to be honest with you, when we thought we were going to get fired this year or last year, we really had just sort of just come to the agreement that we thought the head coaching thing had passed him by. At 51 years old, it's kind of like, it's probably passed us by, and maybe this is just not what the Lord has in store. But then we were I think that we were really just obedient, if you will, in that regard, and we're just like, whatever you have in store for us is what's meant to be. And then it happened, and so I think it's just a lesson of you just never know. You have to just trust that whatever path you're on, that's exactly where God has you, and you're supposed to be there. And you never know when something is going to happen. Like he's always said, I think the greatest message of his story of becoming the head coach is you're always being evaluated. You're always being looked at. So don't ever think that what you're doing is not important.
And I would add one thing. I'll go back. So, God's amazing. He's always been the forefront of the way we parent, the way we have as a couple. But like in 2003, I was quarterback coach in San Diego. And the team chaplain was a guy by the name of Sean Mitchell. Well, I decided that, I wanted to start a coach's Bible study. I just really loved Sean, and, he was real positive, real energetic. I was just drawn to him. And so decided to start a Bible study with all the coaches, and there's multiple stories that can kind of go into this. But at the end of the day, it ended up being about, I'd say, 6 months before I found out that I had thyroid cancer. So I'm 28 years old.
Training camp had just started. Marty was the head coach.
Yep. And I got this devastating news that I had thyroid cancer. And I just feel like, as I grew up Catholic and I was always a Christian, I was involved in FCA, but like Sean Mitchell, everything I talk about is people. Like he impacted me to where I started a coach's Bible study. I got closer. I think she and I really connected through our faith. We went on a number of retreats, Christian faith-based retreats, but like God was preparing me to get that news. She was 3 months pregnant with Sutton, and I get the phone call after a morning practice up in training camp. Says, "Hey, Brian, you have thyroid cancer," and it was God preparing me for that. So some of the things that we've been through, are bigger than football. Football is our life, or is our job. It's not our life. We love it. It's what we do, and but it all starts with God.
Absolutely.
I can't imagine what that was like.
That's faith right there, man. They put God first in everything. And that's one of the things that I've gathered out of this conversation that's been so great. Just to hear the zeal, the faith that they have in God, and, just putting God, just understanding that God is in control, and whatever God has for you, he has for you. And if it's not for you, then it's not for you. I mean, that is just one of the most powerful things that anybody can have in their life, man. When you live your life like that, You live your life like that, you're living your life the right way. And I love this.
Going through, but at the same time, it's incredible to see, like, now that we're kind of like, I was talking about this yesterday, like, going through, like, when you're in the middle of God's plan and everything's, like, really, you can't see through it. It's like, God, what are you doing? Like, what's kind of the ultimate plan? And it's crazy how he's kind of orchestrated y'all's lives to where you are now. Like, I think that's really so amazing. I wanted to talk about your dad, and growing up, that was Mr. Marty to us.
See, I talked about this in the Bible study last night, and Solomon talks about who knows the end of a thing. And when you think about who knows the end of a thing, the Bible is saying something that is so powerful. None of us know what God is doing. We may know what God is doing at a moment with us, but in the grand scheme of things, we don't fully know what God is doing. We don't know what God is doing through us to someone else. And I was saying last night, if you just look at your life event by event, you're not living life right. You can't look at life through a lens of the moment. Live in the moment, but also live in the future. Live your life as in who you are, but also live your life as in who you want to be. You have to understand that you don't know the end result of whatever is transpiring in your life. We work and we say, yeah, man, I'm working because I want to get paid on a certain day. Nah, you're looking at life way too small. Everything you do up until the point of getting paid, it affected somebody else's life too. You don't know what your walk, your talk, you don't know what you did every week. You don't realize what you're doing in somebody else's life. Your coworker's life, your boss's life. I mean, even if you're producing a product for somebody, you're working something in somebody else's life that you don't even realize. When we live life, we can't live it only through the lens of me. We have to live it through the lens of, what is God doing? So I just got to make sure that in what I'm doing, I do what God wants me to do, and let God have his perfect work, and not only work in me, but work through me and work in the lives of people around me. Man, I'm telling you, when you live your life like that, boy, you think different. That's why when I do this, and y'all, I don't do cursing and all of these things, because I don't look at YouTube as just me getting paycheck from YouTube or being successful as a Cowboys content creator. No, I have to understand I'm a child of God. I'm a minister of God's word. And in everything I do, if I put God first, then doggone it, I got to put God first. And I can't be doing everything else and then putting God on the end of it, talking about, yeah, thank God. Meanwhile, on the front end, I'm doing and saying derogatory things and using filthy and foul language and filthy and foul examples and degrading people other than how they're playing. No, can't do those things. Because in the things that I'm saying, I'm also, I don't know who life I may be helping by some of the examples that I give. So that's why I do what I do. That's how you have to live your life and understand, man, everything you do affects people. Man, if people understood that, they'd live their life in a whole different manner. At least I hope they would. But everything we do, it affects people.
I mean, he was like, came to all my grandparents' state chapel, like all of it. I mean, he was absolutely amazing. But the way he changed the game was so amazing. But I also thought that really having you start to coach, I mean, I'm sure that was the start of you wanting to coach. Mm-hmm. How big of an impact did he have, not only on really your life, but the drive to want to be a coach in the league?
I think, I've thought a lot about it. I get asked about my dad all the time, and that's actually, I get emotional. But like one of the things, I don't know if you guys can see with your cameras, I'll grab it, but like, so, this the hat that he wore when he was, we basically, as he got a little bit deeper into the dementia and that we had to place him in a facility that could help take care of him. They first started calling
Yes,
him
sir,
Marty,
Demetrius Noel.
and he just didn't like that. He's like, no, I'm coach. Like, can you please call me coach? Like, that's what he wanted. And so
Pat's the only one that ever called him Marty at that point in his life. Really, he was coach to everybody else.
One of his best friends in the world bought this hat and gave it to him. And the reason I point this out is, like, as I think of my dad, he was an amazing dad. He was an amazing father. He was always involving us in things. He was just so pure. You guys got to know that. He's so pure, and his heart was so big, and he impacted so many people. But, like, I think it says so much about him that he really found his identity outside of his family as being a coach and someone that can influence people. And that's what I do. I mean, I think – people always ask me about, will he ever make the Hall of Fame? And, I don't think he will. But I would put his accomplishments against any coach that's in the Hall of Fame based on the impact that he's had on so many young men's lives. And it's funny, I tell Jimmy all the time, there's not a Sunday that goes by that I don't get stopped pregame by someone. And they say, it's verbatim almost, excuse me, coach, I know you're busy, but, and I kind of chuckle and I laugh because I know what they're getting ready to say. They say, your dad or Marty impacted me back in 1985 because of X, Y, Z.
Or my dad. Players will say that whose fathers played for him now. You know?
So, his impact still lives on. I mean, the way I coach, the way, he was very hands-on. I'm very hands-on. I don't wear sunglasses because he always talked about not wearing sunglasses. He wants the players to see your eyes. And, I'm really, really proud of him. But, the impact that he's had on my life, I try to make him proud every day.
See, this is the part that people sometimes don't get. See, life is bigger than all this stuff. Our faith is bigger than all this stuff. I mean, you got to have something outside of yourself that drives you. If not, you'll drive yourself crazy. And, this is how I live my life, man. I never know what impact I'm making on somebody. I don't. This is why, people, when I preach the word of God, man, I'm telling you, people always, they're always talking about and, telling me, hey, you do a great, I don't want to go into all that, what people be saying, but nevertheless, I let people know, man, I don't preach for a show. I don't preach for a show. I preach what I believe. I preach what I believe. I live what I believe because that has impact on people's life. My wife, my children, other people's children, other people. I'm just telling us, man, if people just truly understood the impact that people have on other people's life. And the thing that I like about what Shotty is saying, I want y'all to follow something that he said here. I picked up on. I've noticed that he talked about certain things. He'll talk about a coach here or a coach there that may have influenced him as it applies to this or that. But he gives his father credit. And this is what a father wants. He gives his father credit, though, for helping him to be the man that he is. Not in football, but outside of football, too. And that part right there, boy, man, if people just understood that, it's that part. His dad didn't just try to make him into a coach. He did all he could do to make him into a man of God, man that loves his family, loves his wife, his children. And even if he becomes a coach, make sure that he understands that he needs to impact everybody who he's around in a positive way. And that's the one thing that Brian has brought to Dallas. He has impacted everybody in this organization, and we can see it. We can clearly see it. Shotty has impacted everybody in this organization. I would dare say, and I've said this before, even Jerry Jones is a better person because of the impact of Brian Schottenheimer. because of the impact of Brian Schottenheimer. You can never discount impact you're having on people, and that's why it's always important to live your life right in front of folk. Brian is going to get his reward, and I believe that reward is going to be a Super Bowl. He's going to get what his father never got. His father built some great teams. I think his father holds the record for winning the most games without going to and winning a Super Bowl. He holds that record. Brian is right. He probably will never get into the Hall of Fame. But I'll tell you this, Brian has a chance. Contrary to what people believe, Brian has a chance, man. He does. He's 51, 52 years old. He has a chance. If he'll just keep doing what he's doing, he has a chance. And I believe he's getting it. I believe he's getting that Super Bowl in Dallas. I do. I absolutely believe it. Just keep putting God first. Bottom line. Brandon said, G preaching. Oh, man. You have to hear me on a Sunday. To God be the glory, though. But this man, Brian, boy, he's making an impact, boy. And I wish we all just understood and thought like this. We're going to get one more in, and then we're going to come back tomorrow with the Twin Podcast. Man, this thing is an hour, man. And the Twin, hey, man, Brian, I'm telling y'all, shout out to the Twin, the Twin Podcast. This is the best interview I've heard Brian Schottenheimer give since he's been the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Shout out to these guys.
Coach, you got your first couple career starts with your dad. What were some of the biggest lessons you kind of got to take away from him as a coach?
Yeah, it's interesting you asked that because I really didn't want to coach for him as long as I did initially, because I was like, there's a thing in pro sports, football, nepotism, and, I didn't start working for him. I started with Dick Vermeil, and then the next year I went to work for him in Kansas City. But the more I was around him, I was like, man, he is really good. I know he's my dad, but I'm like, hey, he's really good. And so I learned so much about preparation, attention to detail. I still use things. If you ask our players when I'm in a team meeting what I say all the time, and one of my big things is write this down. Hey, write this down.
Always.
Because my dad was big on that. So just you can outwork people. Like he used to talk that way. You can outwork people. And
now, I want y'all to think about this. What have I told y'all about Matt Eberflus and how Brian Schottenheimer was able to show Jerry Jones without telling Jerry Jones that Matt Eberflus was not the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys? What did I tell you Brian Schottenheimer did? He outworked Matt Eberflus. Did I not tell y'all this? He outworked him. When Brian Schottenheimer went in that defensive room, nobody expected it. When he went in that room, he showed the organization who he was. I'll outwork you. I'll outwork you. We must be better. Losing is not acceptable. A defense this bad is not acceptable. I will outwork you. What did I tell y'all? He outworked Matt Eberflus. And he just said the same thing his dad taught him. Outwork people.
If you're willing to put in the time and you're willing to put in
the
blood, sweat, and tears, you can gain an advantage. And that's the hardest part. But along with that, with experience, I think I've learned, because he had good balance. But I think my balance right now is probably even stronger than his. Technology has changed everything. We can get things done more efficiently now than they did when you used to have to cut the cut-ups and splice them and all that. But I think at the end of the day, I have notebooks filled with some of his, his sayings and things like that. And one play at a time, expect to win. It's like NFL films just literally constantly, just runs through my head.
Cute story. People love stories. Just tell them the story when he almost didn't hire you in Washington.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, we wouldn't.
We're going to pick up right here next time at 22:47. It's amazing to me because I really didn't. I'm just thinking about I didn't realize the Shotty worked for him like that. I really didn't. That's something that I'd never paid attention to. Bass said it. He said, I think I've said this before. Shotty is the third most powerful person in the organization over Will McClay. Yeah. Yeah. Robert Dudley said, I'm glad I found you, G. It was destiny, God's will, that found this great chat room. Yes, sir. I appreciate you. I'm glad you're with me on the journey. Glad you're with me. Bama Boy said Marty player in San Diego versus New England, all he had to do was get down. They could have ran out the clock. He would have been cut after the game. He fumbled after the interception. Man, Marty lost in some horrific ways, man. Boy, he lost in some horrific ways. He really did, man. Horrific ways. Yeah, he won't be 7-9-1 again. I guarantee you that. Guarantee you. All right, man. Well, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Bama boy, you are not lying. Green Bay, Carolina, Chicago. I don't know about Chicago. They played it. They really was. But I think Chicago was really good. But those Green Bay, Carolina, and Arizona, man, you talking about 10-7 right there. 10-7. Man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Great show today. Shout out to the Twin Takes. Shout out to them. Twin Take Podcast, man, let me tell y'all something. Best interview I've heard of Brian Schottenheimer. We're actually going to get a lot more of you guys in. We're going to get a lot more of you guys in here over the next few days, man. Y'all tune in. I'm going to just keep giving y'all all the praise, man. Y'all deserve it. Great job, man. Great job. You guys did a great job. Keep up the good work over there, man, on the Twin Take Cowboys. The Twin Takes Podcast. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe. We have got to get them to 1,000 or more subscribers. Let them know that Let's Talk Cowboys sent you. Amen. Amen. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all rocking with me today. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. Let's Talk Cowboys. Best chat on YouTube where we talk facts. Peace.